Hello, welcome to Myths and Truths about cervical cancer prevention. My name's Karen and I work for the Eve Appeal, the UK's gynae cancer research charity, and I'm joined by Adeola Olaitan, gynaecologist, lovely lady and trustee of the Eve Appeal. So in this video we're going to be talking about the HPV vaccine, which is incredibly crucial when it comes to preventing cervical cancer, a disease which is largely preventable. So Adeola, I'm going to ask you some questions that people have sent in and some potential myths that hopefully we can bust and set the record straight. So the first question we've got about the HPV vaccine is, I've heard that you can't have the HPV vaccine if you're already sexually active. Can you kind of explain why they might think that and if that's true?
Okay, so HPV is the virus that puts people at risk of cervical cancer. You get it through sexual contact. And so ideally you should be vaccinated before you ever have sexual contact. But despite that, it still works very well if you've had sexual contact, and you can have it at any age. It's licensed up to the age of 45.
So you said it was licensed up until the age of 45, but I thought it was just given out in schools to people that are quite young. How does someone who's an adult go about getting it?
So the NHS screening programme is for girls aged 12 to 13. People older than that can get it. It's not always available on the NHS, but you can have a discussion with your GP. Otherwise, you can obtain it privately.
Okay. Somebody has said, instead of the vaccine, can't I just tell my son and daughters to use condoms?
Condoms are a good idea to protect you from other sexually transmitted infections. They don't protect you from HPV, and the reason for that is HPV is transmitted through skin-to-skin contact, and therefore wearing a condom will not protect.
The vaccine is dangerous and will make my child ill. What do you have to say to that?
HPV is one of the most scrutinised vaccinations ever. It's been looked at every which way you can. Millions of doses have been given. The side effects, the common side effects are very mild. It's transient itching in the vaccination site. It's a flu-like illness. It's like any vaccination. No medicine is without risk, but serious risks are very rare.
Why are only girls currently offered the vaccine? So we know that HPV is the most common 99.7% cause of cervical cancer, but can HPV, you were saying, cause genital warts? So boys can get genital warts. What's going on with just giving girls the vaccine?
Indeed, and boys should get it. And the good news is that it was announced in July 2018 that boys will now be eligible for the vaccine. So they will be part of the school's vaccination programme. They'll get the vaccine between the ages of 12 and 13. It will protect them against genital warts. It also, in men, HPV can cause penile cancer, although that's much rarer than cervical cancer.
Somebody said, can I have the HPV vaccine after having cervical cancer?
No, because it's a preventative vaccine. There are research programs looking at HPV in people who have still had cervical cancer, but that's the only context in which it would be given.
So I just want to ask you a bit about pregnancy and the HPV vaccine. So if somebody's had their smear test, found out that they've got HPV, or is worried about HPV but then found out they're pregnant, can a pregnant person have the vaccine?
No, the vaccination is not recommended in people who are pregnant because it's, generally speaking, having vaccinations during pregnancy is not a good idea. But having said so, it's important for the woman to realise that the HPV will not harm her or her baby as long as she's had her cervical screen and follows the screening strategy that has been prescribed by her specialist. It's absolutely fine. The baby won't get the HPV infection.
So if you want any more information about HPV in general or the cervical screening appointments, we've got other videos in this Myths and Truths series, so do check them out. They're on our website and on social media. Thanks again, Adeola.
Thank you, Karen.
You're a star. Bye.